breathes. SWAT inhales on the move and exhales on the cut. Rivera's saw right sparks into the dark like fireflies in a jar. The great protests, then relents. She palms the steel, cold. Open space, she says. The snake cam glides forward and the black becomes a geometry lesson. 90 degrees shadow. A corner you wouldn't see without light. Something moves there, taller than the hooded runner. Patient as a teacher. The camera drinks in a sliver of cheekbone, an eye that doesn't blink at glare, a mouth that admires. Hello, Captain. Ethan says, not over the building, but right into the cam mic. You brought the saw I like. Don't move, Rivera answers. The command more ritual than expectation. Ethan tips his head like he's greeting an old blueprint. He places his palm on the lens. For an instant, Maya is staring at skin whirls and a scar like a river delta. The image goes white. New cam, Maya tosses, and a backup slithers in like a trouble loves corners. In the far left seam of Titan, water whispers into room, shy and slick. It spreads a mirror on the floor and paints the red alarm lights as shaky blood coins. A man lifts his shoes too late. Another steps onto a bunk rung and pretends he meant to stretch. Leak! Maya calls, already scanning drain maps in her head. Left corner, old wall. Sandbags and pump, Monroe snaps, and maintenance boots are flapping before the radio breath finishes. Marcus doesn't wait for rescue to learn its path. He raises his hand and speaks calm without words. 3 steps back, open a lane, give the water a river that isn't ankles. The crowd learns fast. A corridor opens between bunks, and the spill chooses it gratefully. People always think locks and walls make safety. Sometimes with a finger drawing a line on wet concrete. Maya's chest loosens a notch. She looks from the glossy channel to the blue crucifix under the chapel on her board and wonders if floors can pray. The intercom chokes on feedback and then plays the exact melody that starts every morning in this place. It's gentle by design as Shepherd's Bell, but at 11:43 p.m. it feels like a trick. Men swallow instinct. 10,000 bodies negotiate with habit. Stay with me. The warden says to nobody in the building at once. You're not a song. Ethan laughs softly. Names are funny. You call an alarm. I call a metronome. It makes the room share a heartbeat. Maya toggles between fear and anger and lands on work. Chaplain, water carts rows 3 and 5. Do not be a hero. Copy. Thomas says, peppermint resolve. A kid's voice rises from back, threaded with apology. Officer Collins? Jordan, I'm scared. She squeezes the mic and the truth fits. Me too, she says. Watch Marcus's hand. That's your tide. He nods, small chin high, and she remembers that courage isn't loud. It's a choice you repeat every 30 seconds until the clock loses interest. For cameras bloom like a split-screen nightmare. The chapel flickers, warm light throat clearing. The kitchen vents burp a lick of smoke. The laundry steams like a dragon's breath from a broken iron. The loading bay flashes a strobe from nowhere. Blue at 4, Harris says. He's making us spend people. We hold. Monroe snaps, and the room hates the word but obeys it. Rivera keeps her team coiled. One at a grate, one at a bend, both watching for wires like snakes watching for feet. Maya's eyes drink detail. A glass of water tips itself on the chapel altar and suicides on tile. The sound doesn't travel through the chapel mic. It trembles through the building bones. Sometimes you have to break the pretty things to fix the big ones, Ethan murmurs, nauseatingly pleased with his poetry. Enough, the warden says, heat breaking through calm. You will not talk about my people like furniture. The blue points pulse brighter, as if applauding. Maya notes it like weather. She files it like a detective. The grainy tunnel feed catches him full on at last. Not a legend. A man. Clean jaw, calm eyes that appear almost kind because they are terrifyingly certain. He isn't breathing hard. He's studying. You built a cathedral to order, he tells the lens, and then asks her to pray to silence. Rivera edges her team behind a bend, buying angle and time. Hands, she whispers, and 4 rifles show muzzles but not men. Ethan smirks as if they've said hello properly. Maya meets those pixels with her own unblinking stare through glass and wire. She narrates to herself, So fear has no room. Nose deviates left, scar on palm, left-handed by the way he turns, favors a right knee by the drag in dust. She anchors him in facts. "Captain," she says, "if he wants us to chase, he'll feed us flame." As if obeying stage direction, the cam washes in white. Heat climbs 2 degrees, then 4. "Back out," Monroe orders. "We fight fire with distance, flood with drains." Ethan's laugh is dry sticks. "Or you fight everything with hope and call it policy." Rivera's saw screams a punctuation mark, and the frame fills with sparks again. 2 alarms climb the same ladder. Sub-basement temperature spikes. Main water pressure drops. The siren that lives and drills only tears the air into strips. Report. Monroe barks. Fire spread risk under Chapel. Main line breach under Titan. "We're losing pumps." The tech gasps. Ethan sings his taunt like a nursery rhyme. "Fire or flood, Alex. How many locks can you hold with one hand?" For 1 beat the room becomes a clock. You can hear seconds scuff their shoes. "Captain." Seal and pull. Monroe decides. Harris. Foam and tools to the main line under Titan. Emma. Chaplain. Water carts rows 3 and 5. Maya. Find me the break. Orders stick like good tape. Rivera's team reverses. Hot wall hissing like an animal. Harris rolls cylinders and throws us back into a hatch that hates opening. Nurse Lee pushes water like a field medic in a desert. Chaplain Thomas becomes a mule with a rosary. Maya rides cameras to corners. Old joints, new welds, hairline fractures that look like spiders until they start to weep. "Corner seam, row B12, she calls. "We got our leak." Warden Monroe plants his hands on the console like he intends to lift the whole prison by himself. "People first," he repeats to the room, and to the voice that wants to make a puzzle. "We'll hold both lines." He flips a secondary key no one's touched in years. Pressure gates beneath Titan Kiss close to slow the flood without choking the pumps. He nods at Harris. "Your wheel." He nods at Rivera. "Your corridor." He meets Maya's eye, and in the second before she looks back at Glass, she feels the steadiness land in her spine like a rod. Ethan tries to make it small again. "Systems, Alex. You love them. Choose." Monroe doesn't gift him silence. "I choose my people," he says, voice low, calm, and absolute. The room tightens into that sentence like a belt through a buckle. On the floor, Marcus raises his palm again. Steady, open, and 10,000 bodies take a collective half-step backward from the idea of panic. Flood or flame, choice or trap, the weather of Titan bends toward will. Marcus turns his palm into a flag again, and the men follow it because it keeps being right. He points to the water lane, and people widen it by a shoulder. He tips 2 fingers and a row kneels, heads down, posture turning right into prayer. He points at the smoke's memory, and a tear cracks a window of space, so air can fall and breathe. You don't need a microphone if your hand language is the shape of calm. Maya narrates at a record no one will ever play. Front line kneeling, rear line offset, lanes open, crowd temperature dropping. The control room hears the music of order return, duller, steadier, human. In the tunnel cam, Rivera's team reaches a new grate, bolts orange with age, saw biting with hungry curses. In the chapel feed, the light steadies and the altar stands naked and harmless. The blue crucifix on Maya's board dims 1 shade like a storm deciding whether or not to rain. For 9 heartbeats. Everyone believes they might actually carry this night to morning, without losing anything they can't get back. Titan decides in 1 breath. The first cold geyser punches through the floor at row B12, a clean silver fist rising from a hairline crack. Harris slams a foam sleeve over it, and the spray becomes a sulk. In the tunnel, Rivera's grate clatters free, and the corridor beyond blooms a knife of white. Too pure to be safe. Heat couples with air and woofs like a giant turning over. "Back!" she snaps, team retreating in a ballet of metal and breath. The dampers snap again. The smoke curls once and dies. For a heartbeat, the whole machine balances. Water contained, flame caged, people holding. Then the red bulb above the main gate flickers, blinks, goes white. The steel teeth chatter. A vibration, low and sick, crawls through the floor. Somewhere deep, a relay accepts the wrong kiss. The sound that follows is small for what it means. A single metallic clink, precise as a coin hitting tile in an empty room. Maya's eyes jump to the scene where steel meets steel. Every head in Titan pivots, as if pulled by string. The lock at the heart of Block Titan clicks, and that's where we leave this chapter. Hand on the breath of a giant room, listening for whether it inhales safety or exhales history.